So we're going to share with you guys 3 tips that is going to help you keep the momentum but allow you to still recharge and be present in a really important part of your family's life or a part of the year.
Welcome to episode 2 of the GVT101 with Cindy and Andrew. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about running your business through a holiday period. Specifically, I guess at the moment, Christmas, but this can apply to kind of any major event that you have in your life.
Yep, absolutely. The principles are basic principles that can be applied all throughout the year.
Yep.
So, coming into Christmas, we can all get very busy. We have a lot going on personally. Some of us might be working part-time and full-time as well as doing Sensi. So there's just a lot between your children and all the things that they're doing at school, end of year, concerts, get-togethers with family, friends, all the things that we understand that it is a busy time. And so sometimes the easiest thing to do during a busy time is actually just to stop working. But we're going to share with you guys 3 things that you can do to help you not so much stop, but keep your business running, because we have been doing this for over 6 years and we have seen what happens when people just completely stop for 4 to 5 weeks, and how difficult it can be for them to restart or kickstart their business in the new year. So we're going to share with you guys 3 tips that is going to help you keep the momentum but allow you to still recharge and be present in a really important part of your family's life or a part of the year.
Yep. So the very first thing we want to share with you is the importance of slowing down at these times but not stopping. So Cindy kind of alluded to that a little bit just then. We see so many people, when they take time off, they completely disconnect and essentially shut down for up to like a month around the Christmas time. A couple of weeks before, the Christmas week, a week or so after, right? School holidays, things going on. We're all crazy busy. I know we have things on every weekend, every day, usually in the lead up to Christmas. And so it's easy to kind of switch off and stop doing things around your business. But one of the analogies that we've often seen used and used ourselves is those circle things.
Circle things? It's what are they called?
They're not called a roundabout.
It's not called a merry-go-round, but you know, at the park, at our local parks, there's one at every single one actually.
Every park has one,
but
right?
It's just this rounded circle thing that your kids jump in, and you need someone to push it around.
Yeah, so everyone sits. There's generally 4 sections in a circle. It spins around and gets faster and faster. The small kids fall off and hurt themselves, but the stronger kids can hang on. They generally will sit up against something so they don't fall off, right?
And it's generally
we all know
pushing.
We know the thing we're talking about. We don't really know what it's called. I don't even think it has an actual name.
I don't know.
But it's this thing that's a circle that spins around quickly.
And we all hate doing it as a parent, right?
Do you know what we really hate?
What?
When the heavy kid gets up. Right?
Yeah.
We've all been there. So from a standstill, you see him coming from a mile away. We've got one. And he goes, "Can you push me, Dad?" "Yeah, no worries, son." And he sits on it, and it's from a standstill, right? And you have to lean into that thing, because it's heavy by itself with nothing on it.
Yeah.
And then it gets loaded up, and then as soon as a kid sees you pushing that,
they
it's
all
like
jump. Yeah, so like, a
the
parent's
whole
pushing
playground empties into that thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you've got like 200 kilos on there that you're trying to push around, right? So from a standstill, that thing is extremely hard to get going, usually when it's full. It takes a bit of effort.
Takes quite a lot of effort, let's be real.
I just spat everywhere. I don't know if you saw that. That was gross. But the other principle is that once it's going, you can kind of stand there, you can have a step back, and you can just be pushing with one hand
Yeah, once it's
keeps the swing going,
once it's
right?
going.
So, how does that relate to your business? It's not rocket science. You've probably already drawn all the conclusions. But if you stop your business completely, getting going again in the middle of January, when everyone else is thinking about getting back to school, and you're thinking about getting back to school, and you're thinking about starting work again, or whatever it is that you've got going on in your life in the middle of January, if you're trying to do that, if you're trying to get your sense of business going again from a standstill, you've got some challenges.
Yeah. It's just a lot of things. It's not just getting started again, but it's, getting back into the groove of things. It's a bit like going to the gym.
Nah.
Do you know when you go to the gym all the time, and you miss one day, it's like, it's a bit difficult the next day to get back up, but you can still get there. But then when you miss like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then it's like a whole month.
Yeah.
And then trying to get back and doing the first day and the second day again is like the hardest thing ever. Not just physical, but mental.
It's mainly mental.
Yeah,
it really is, because it's not that hard to do the gym. It's not that hard to run your business. The hardest thing is getting out of your own way and actually doing it, right?
Mentally.
And
so, our biggest tip is to slow down, absolutely, but do not stop. And you're probably thinking, well, what can I do? Like, how does that make sense? Well, that's going to lead us to our second point. And our second point is...
we're going to share with you some alternate ways that you can run your business, or at least be present in your business through a kind of slower or a more detached period of time, right? So we want you to step back a little bit, right? We're not saying go berserk and don't stop and don't take any time off and don't rest. 100% slow down, but don't stop. We're going to just share with you some of the ways that you can kind of do that practically and keep your business going through that period, so it's not hard to get started again once you really kick back on.
Yeah, because like Andrew said, it's a mental game. And so if you're just switching a bit to a different activity, but still mentally thinking about it, you're still in the game. And so a couple of those things that you can do during the quiet period or during the time that you're, spending time with your family and friends and having time off is one of the biggest tips, and we haven't written this down, but one of the biggest things is you might have to get up earlier and you might have to go to bed later. Why? For me, all my kids are at home. And so to me, the easiest time to do that, because they need to be entertained all the time, is to get up an hour or two earlier and to go to bed an hour or two later. That allows me to gain 4 to 5 hours a day to still work my business. And that's a sacrifice that you have to make when you are an entrepreneur and you are a business owner, because if you don't show up, you don't get paid. That's how being in business works. And so you need to show up somehow and make that sacrifice. And depending on what kind of sacrifice you make will depend on how much momentum you'll have when it comes time in the new year to kickstart again. So that's totally up to you. You can decide how much momentum you're going to keep in your business. One of the things that you can work on while you're slowing down is systems. You can put systems in place. We all love to start the new year with all the systems running smoothly. Let's face it, we like to start the new year organized. And so between Christmas and New Year's is a great time to think about the systems that you have in place and implement the systems that you've probably watched videos of or trainings of, or you've been wanting to do. It's on your to-do list. Now is the time that you can do that. You can use that time to create systems that's going to work well for you for 2020.
A part of that can be using some new apps. You can. One of the great things that happens at the end of every year and the beginning of what is all that? At the beginning of New Year's is reviews on apps. So you can Google what's the best apps on Apple iOS for organization from 2019. What are the best apps of the year? What are the best apps to download from my phone in the new year, right? Mm-hmm. And you can use some of those things to help you be more productive and more intentional and more streamlined in your workflow and in all the things that you're doing. Because A lot of the time when we learn to do new things, we do them in the slowest way imaginable. So I play around with editing these videos, right? My workflow is stupidly slow. I can only just imagine someone who's professional watching me do what I do, and they would just be like, what are you even doing on there? This is just ridiculously slow. But as you get used to using things in your YouTube and you learn how to do more things, it will streamline what you're doing and make it a lot quicker and make it a lot more professional looking, make your whole deal more efficient.
Yeah.
Probably the best word, right?
And easier when you become...
easier to do and easier to keep momentum and keep doing those things. So look for better ways to do what you're already doing.
Yeah. Another thing you can do is it's a great time to try some alternative business practices. So if we're all about honing in on your strengths, absolutely, but that doesn't mean not to give other things a go. You might be surprised at what you're really good at when you give something a go. So maybe it might be time to practice and give a new way of making samples a go. Maybe it might be to try a new party method and give online parties a go, or give bingo parties a go. Yes, your response rate might be a little bit lower that time of the year, but it's a great time to practice those things, to give them a go, and to get really good feedback from the handful of people that are participating.
But you might even have time with your family, and not to ram it down their throats, but you can say, look, I just want to practice doing this game. I've got this game from a party that I want to try. Can I just have a crack with you guys? Can we play bingo?
Yeah.
And see how you like this and tell me what I can do to do better. You've got kind of a crowd with you at some point over Christmas or a holiday or whatever it is that you're doing.
And they'll be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be real, they'll be brutally honest.
So it could be a good way to
it could be good and
that.
a bad. But hopefully it's good. And so that's a great time to try something new, basically. Try something new, or if you're working on something, to refine it, to make it better, to improve on the idea. Cleaning out your office is a great time of year to clean it out so you can have a fresh start in the new year. Those are all things that just helps you to be productive and to be mindful of your business during the slow season.
Yeah. The final thing that we want to talk about is something that I find particularly effective during holiday seasons. We go away every year in September for a week, and that works well for me to kind of read. It's a good time of year to recharge for me at that point. So, and I do the same thing at Christmas, but the point is that it's a great time to recharge, reflect, and review what's actually going on and where you're at. So it is great to step back and to dial down a little bit your intensity, I guess, in what you're doing. Spend some time with your family, people around you, your friends. But I often find that by the end of that period, I'm ready and recharged and ready to go again into whatever it is that I'm doing.
Yeah. Rest is important.
And so don't ever think that we're sitting here saying you cannot slow down, you cannot stop. It's so important to take that time for yourself, to take a breath. We're just saying don't stop.
Yeah. And we're going to let you guys decide on, the intensity of that, of your slowing down. Some people won't want to slow down and they'll want to blaze ahead because they're going for that incentive trip and they have till the end of January, and other people will slow down and take their time, or they've achieved their goals or whatever it is. And so it's an individual process, and it's definitely, don't look at what other people around you are doing. Be mindful of your situation, your family situation. It might be the only time of year that your husband or your partner is at home, and so they need your attention. It's important to nurture those relationships that you guys have at home. They're the most important relationships, and let's be real, that's most likely 98% of the reason why you guys are doing Sensi. And so we don't want to take you away from that. We want you to be mindful of those relationships, but also be mindful of your business and why you're doing your business, because for us, it's definitely a big part of our household income. So we still have to work. It just means that we're working earlier and later at night. That works really good for us. For you, it might be completely different. So you just have to think about your personal situation, think about all the things that we've shared, and fine tune it to you basically. And
one of the things I love about these principles too is that it can apply to any, so it doesn't just have to apply to the Christmas period. Like, so when you were pregnant with Odin, you found it difficult obviously to leave the house and go and do parties. So you chose to take your business mainly online, text message, you doubled down on follow-ups. And you said,
I was really unwell.
I haven't been fantastic at follow-ups previously, but I can do that lying in bed on my phone. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And because you tried something different, it changed kind of the course of our whole business, right?
It did. It totally did.
Because from then on, you just follow up now.
Yeah.
We do a lot less parties and a lot less
a lot
outside
of
the
sales
house.
is online and through social media, but also through follow-ups.
And so through that thing, which some people, and rightly so, can choose to pull right back out of their business, through that experience we were able to actually increase our business and improve it.
Yeah.
So taking this time to review and reflect on your business and try new things and do things differently can potentially change the whole way that you do things and make it easier and better in the new year, which is probably one of your goals. If we're going to be honest, everyone wants to do things easier and better in the new year. That's generally the New Year's resolution, make things more successful. And this is a great way to kind of step into that.
100%.